Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were released in November of 2021. Having not played the original games that came out in 2006, I was excited to experience the Sinnoh region for the first time, so I bought a copy and started playing. What I found though is that Pokemon games as an adult are pretty easy. I had no problem making my way through the game in just a few hours on my first playthrough. Wanting to put more time into the games though, I decided to try and beat Brilliant Diamond with just a single Pokemon and without using any items to help me during battles. This is how it went. I opened up a new file in Brilliant Diamond and named myself Whale, and then affectionately named my rival not Piplup, since everything that wasn't Piplup would be my nemesis. I went after my rival, who had been looking for me, and we went down to the lake together. There we found Rowan and Dawn had left their briefcase that contained the 3 Pokemon I would get to choose from. Knowing one of these Pokemon was the only one I'd ever be able to have, I scoured the internet for research, checking gym types, analyzing movesets, comparing stats and abilities, planning every Elite Four battle, and calculating which starter would give me the best chance of completing this single Pokemon challenge. just kidding. I went with Piplup. He's a penguin. Why would I pick Turtwig or Chimchar? It was so easy. Anyway, after picking up my Piplup and naming him Penguin, for obvious reasons, Penguin and I set off for Jubilife City. Now, I think it's important I explain the rules I'm using for this challenge. First, Piplup and his evolutions are the only Pokemon I'll ever be allowed to have. Well, not really. There are a few other required catches, but I'll explain those later. And since there are times that the game forces you to catch another Pokemon, I said that Penguin will be the only one I can ever do damage with to another trainer. This ensured that it really would be Penguin that made me the champion. In addition, I wasn't allowed to use any items in battles. I couldn't catch any other Pokemon for EXP, even if I released them immediately, and I couldn't train against wild Pokemon unless I was unable to progress through any other means. With the rules clarified, I headed off towards Urberg City to challenge the first gym before being rudely stopped by not Piplup, wanting to see how strong each of us had become in the short time since starting our journeys. By now my rival had caught a Starly, and he had chosen Turtwig to counter my Piplup. Starly knew Quick Attack, so was always able to damage me first, and Turtwig knew Withdraw, a status move that raises the user's defense. It took me 3 tries before I found the right combination of Pound, Growl, and Water Gun to win the battle and allow me to move on to the first gym. The first gym leader is Rourke, a Rock-type user. Being a Water-type, Penguin had a big advantage. The only problem I faced was Granados, who outsped my Piplup and used a combination of Leer and Headbutt to take me down. Piplup had learned Charm to lower their attack, and after a few tries with this, I was able to collect the Coal Badge from Rourke. With the first badge under my belt, I was now able to use the Rock Smash HM and travel to Eterna City, the location of the second gym. Before you can go to Eterna City, Team Galactic introduced themselves to me in Jubilife City, where they were harassing my good friends Professor Rowan and Dawn. A quick double battle with Dawn sent them running, and I was able to safely move on through Route 204. On the way to Eterna City, you have to pass through Floroma Town, where Team Galactic is causing trouble again. They set up shop in the Valley Windworks, but by defeating a few Galactic grunts, I was able to retrieve the key to let me in, and my Piplup evolved into a Prinplup. Once inside, Mars, one of the 3 commanders of Team Galactic, challenged me to a pretty easy fight. I sent Team Galactic packing again, and was finally allowed to make some progress towards Eterna. On the way, I teamed up with Cheryl in Eterna Forest, completed some routine double battles, then we parted ways on the other side so I could challenge the gym. Gym 2 is the Grass-type gym, a potential challenge for my now Prinplup. Penguin knew Peck at the time, but while I was in Floroma Town I picked up the TM for Pluck, an even more powerful flying-type move that I knew would help me get through the Grass-type trainers and Gardenia, the gym leader. I cleared out all 4 trainers, and even though Gardenia's Roserade paralyzed me and hit me with a powerful Grass Knot, none of her Pokemon were strong enough to withstand a few plucks from Penguin. Along with the Forest Badge, Gardenia also gave me a few copies of TM86, Grass Knot. Grass Knot is a Grass-type move that deals more damage based on how heavy an opposing Pokemon is, and this move would prove to be very important later in the challenge. For now though, I headed to Team Galactic's new base in Eterna City, where I cleared all of the grunts and Jupiter, another of Team Galactic's commanders. After clearing out the base in Eterna, the game makes you run across the entire Sinnoh region to get to Veilstone, the location of badge number 3. On the way, I obtained the bike, and ran into some strange man who lectured me about the creation of the Sinnoh region and pondered the meaning of life. I'm not really sure what he's all about. Then I visited Hearthome City, where I picked up the Shell Bell, a held item that steals some health from the opponent's Pokemon based on the amount of damage I do, and of course, then my rival wanted to challenge me again. I took him down easily. Even though he had added a Weasel and Ponyta to his team, Penguin swept through all of them. Nearly an hour of story progression later, I could finally challenge Veilstone City's fighting-type gym. This gym proved to be the first big challenge of the run. Piplup and his evolutions are not known for their speed stat, and in this gym, almost every Pokemon outsped my Prinplup, and their fighting type moves hit hard. I rammed my head against the gym leader quite a few times with no real progress, so I called it a day, promising to level Penguin up a bit and come back to give Maylene a real challenge. I leveled Penguin up to level 35 and also decided to pay the Veilstone City department store a visit. Here I picked up the TM for Double Team and bought a few copies of the TM for Ice Beam. Double Team proved to be the solution to quite a few problems in the run, including Maylene in the fighting gym. Double Team is a status move that raises the evasiveness of the Pokemon that uses it by one stage. By using 6 Double Teams to start the battle, the opponent's Pokemon would now only land moves 1/3 of the time. Even with the increased odds, beating Maylene still took some luck. I outsped her Meditite and Machoke, but her Lucario was faster and stronger. Her Lucario hit me with 2 hard drain punches after bulking up. Now, how is my little Penguin supposed to live through 2 crushing punches? Well, the power of friendship, of course. Friendship is a stat all Pokemon have had since Generation 2, and usually doesn't do too much. In this game, though, it's one of the most powerful stats your Pokemon can have. This increases your Pokemon's chance to evade, allows you to heal status conditions, survive on 1 HP, and some other cool effects. I couldn't find anywhere that listed the increased odds specifically, but this mechanic saved Penguin and I a lot later in the challenge. Thanks to my close bond with Penguin, he held on after a hard drain punch so I wouldn't feel sad, allowing me to collect the 3rd gym badge. With 3 badges to my name, I found some Team Galactic grunts messing with Dawn, so she and I teamed up again. After this battle, something pretty special happened. Penguin evolved into Empoleon. Empoleon is a powerful dual water steel type with strong stats and a diverse moveset. He's also a giant awesome penguin. Empoleon now on my side, I ran through routes 213 and 214, battling a few weak trainers along the way. I had to level up a bit in order to get the 3rd badge, which meant my Empoleon was quite a bit stronger than any measly route trainer trying to get in my way. I arrived in Pastoria City to challenge gym number 4, the water type gym. None of the trainers in the gym caused too much of an issue, so I ran back to the Pokemon Center, making sure Penguin was fully healthy before giving Crasher Wake a run for his money as the best water type user in Sinnoh. And he quickly beat me once I realized I didn't have any moves that would do much damage to water types. At the time, Penguin had Pluck, Metal Claw, and Bubble Beam. Water types resist both water and steel type moves, and Crasher Wake's bulky Pokemon would be able to take quite a few Plucks before they went down, and certainly not before they were able to take me out first. This is where I learned the power of Empoleon's diverse learn set. By level up, Piplup and his evolutions only learn 1 steel type move, 2 flying type moves, and a variety of water, normal, and status moves. With TMs though, Empoleon gains access to a large variety of moves that made it possible to beat this challenge. I was able to teach Empoleon Grass Knot. Water types are weak to grass type moves, and Crasher Wake used some pretty hefty Pokemon, so I knew Grass Knot would make a big difference. On my second try, I obtained the Fen badge from Wake, 4 badges, halfway through the gym challenge. Once you have 4 badges, your rival challenges you yet again before you can handle some more Team Galactic threats. I won't spend too much time on this rival battle. He didn't have any new Pokemon, and it was another easy victory. A Team Galactic grunt led me on a wild goose chase through a few of Sinnoh's routes until I caught him and defeated him. He kept mumbling about some evil plan they had, but Penguin and I were not too concerned. From there, Cynthia, the champion of the region, asked us for a favor. She needed me to go heal a few Psyducks blocking Route 210, and then deliver a charm to her grandmother in Celestic Town. Since I was in a good mood, I obliged. I worked through the fog and delivered the charm. Here at Celestic Town, I checked out some cave art, and we met back up with the strange man from earlier. This turned out to be Cyrus, the leader of Team Galactic. He gave another villainous monologue before running off somewhere. Penguin and I still weren't too bothered by the evil schemes they'd been working on. We ignored Team Galactic, our eyes set on the 5th gym badge. So we flew to Hearthome City. Now, I don't know if Fantina was a math teacher in a past life, or just helped out at the local middle school on the side, but for some reason to get through her gym you have to solve math problems. Thankfully the Poketch comes equipped with a calculator, and I was able to challenge her without fighting any other trainers in the gym. Fantina is a ghost-type user. She has a Drifblim, a Gengar, and a Mismagius on her team. All my powerful Penguin had to do was surf 6 times to get the Relic Badge. 3 Ghost-type Pokemon times 6 Surfs equals 1 Relic Badge. How's that for some math, Fantina? Didn't even need the Poketch for that one. Anyway, After leaving the 5th gym, Cynthia once again confronts us to thank us for helping her grandmother, and to let her know that the threat from Team Galactic may be more serious than she had thought. As if a 10-year-old with a penguin could care. I took Penguin and sprinted off for Canalave City. Gym badge is the only thing on our minds. Before entering the gym, Not Piplup stopped us again for a battle. This time, he added a Heracross and gave me a bit more of a fight. He got the best of me once, but after a few double teams to start the second attempt, all I needed to do was surf until all 5 of his Pokemon fainted. Gym 6, here we come. The Canalave City Gym is known for their Steel-type Pokemon. I got through pretty easily and began to challenge Byron, the gym leader. Byron has a Bronzor, a Steelix, and a Bastiodon, and I was a bit overconfident. Steel-type moves are extremely ineffective against Empoleon, and I outsped all 3 of Byron's Pokemon. Surf was super effective against Steelix and Bastiodon, so I figured this would be another first-try success. Byron had other plans. Byron started with his Bronzor. I used Surf, dealing big damage, and Bronzor used Trick Room. Trick Room alters the battlefield, reversing speed stat effects. This means the Pokemon with the lower speed stat will actually move first while Trick Room is active. Now all of Byron's Pokemon would outspeed Penguin, and while I was able to take the Bronzor out on the next turn, it used Sandstorm, boosting the special defense stat of Rock-type Pokemon, like his Bastiodon. The next Pokemon was Steelix, which thanks to Earthquake and Thunderfang, plus its sturdy ability, was able to get the best of my Empoleon and the power of friendship, sending us back to the Pokemon Center. After another try with no success, Double Team once again saved the day. By using a few Double Teams to stall out Trick Room, I was able to raise my evasiveness and kill the Bronzor just as Trick Room ended. I was back to being faster than Byron's other 2 Pokemon and won the battle. Byron congratulated Penguin and I and rewarded us with the Mind Badge, as well as several copies of TM91, Flash Cannon, a powerful Steel-type move that Empoleon was able to learn. As it turns out, Canalave City has a pretty nice library, and Rowan, Dawn, Not Piplup, and I sat down to discuss legendary Pokemon and evolution, the focus of Rowan's research. We were rudely interrupted by a large explosion though, and I was no longer able to ignore Team Galactic, as they had actually begun putting their plan into motion. I did take about an hour-long detour here to collect the TM for Strength, something I'd forgotten to do earlier, and used it to collect another important TM, Earthquake. Finally, I went to confront Saturn, the 3rd Galactic Commander, at Lake Valor. Team Galactic had dried up the lake with a large explosion, and I had to put a stop to it. Saturn was absolutely no match for me. I beat them on the first try, and then quickly flew to Lake Verity to stop Mars and some grunts from doing what they had done at Lake Valor. Thanks to Team Galactic's loyalty to Pokemon like Golbat and Bronzor, Mars went down in just a few turns. One more lake to check to try and foil Galactic's schemes. This took me to the northernmost parts of the Sinnoh region, Route 217, Snowpoint City, and Lake Acuity. A few members of Team Galactic wouldn't let me get to the lake until I challenged the gym in Snowpoint. I went into the town and went for it. Even though the game was just a few days old at this point, there had already been quite a few exploits found. One of my favorites is in the Snowpoint gym. By walking diagonally at one of the staircases in the gym, it allows you to head straight into the Candace fight, bypassing every trainer and the entire puzzle. Being the leader of the gym in Snowpoint, Candace uses mainly Ice-type Pokemon, which are weak to Steel. Flash Cannon was enough to take out all of her Pokemon, but she did have one trick up her sleeve, a Medicham. This fighting type was faster than my Empoleon and took me out with just one Brick Break. The Water-Steel combination Empoleon had made him a very powerful defensive Pokemon, with only 3 weaknesses: Fighting, Ground, and Electric. I went back in with my double team strategy after the first attempt, and it only took 2 more tries before Brick Break missed and Candace gave me the Icicle Badge. Badge 7 in hand, Penguin and I headed for Lake Acuity. There we found that our rival had been defeated by Jupiter, who told us off and left for the Team Galactic headquarters in Veilstone City. While there were quite a few trainers to get to the top, none of them proved to be too much of a challenge, and at the top I encountered Cyrus. He gave me yet another long monologue about his evil plans to take over the region with the legendary Pokemon. But despite being the leader of a villainous organization, he was actually pretty weak, and I beat him on the first attempt. I finished thwarting Galactic's plans by defeating Saturn again and releasing the Lake Guardian Pokemon, Azelf, Mesprit, and Yuxi. Defeating Saturn was just as easy as it was every time before, and I pressed the button, setting the Pokemon free. With Team Galactic finally on the ropes, I raced to confront them at the top of Mount Coronet, to stop their plans once and for all. It did take me a bit to get to the top after forgetting the path from my initial playthrough, and once I got there, I was met with a disappointing surprise. There are 3 battles at the top of the mountain, and the first is a pair of Galactic grunts standing guard. With every other battle in the game that's normally a double battle, the game recognizes you have only one Pokemon and has you fight the two trainers one at a time. These two trainers, though, insist on fighting together. I spent a few minutes searching the internet to see if there was a workaround. I didn't find anything. So I came up with my own solution. I went back into Mount Coronet and caught a Bronzong, which I named You Suck, and at this level, Bronzong knows Iron Defense, a status move that would allow me to ensure the only damage I ever did to another trainer's Pokemon would be with Penguin, to stay in line with the rules I had established at the start. With that problem out of the way, I beat the first two grunts and released You Suck as fast as I could. The second battle at the summit is a rematch with Commanders Mars and Jupiter. Just as I was about to fight them, my rival Not Piplup showed up to help me out. Together, we made pretty quick work of these two. Neither of them had changed their teams from the times I had beaten them earlier, so it wasn't too much trouble getting past. Finally, it was time to rematch Team Galactic's leader Cyrus. As he told me about his plans for what felt like the 10th time, Dialga, the legendary Master of Time, had something to say about it. What Cyrus thought had been a powerful ally was freed from its captivity by the Lake Guardians I had saved at the Team Galactic headquarters in Veilstone. Now furious, Cyrus challenged me to a battle. Since fighting him earlier, Cyrus had actually gotten quite a bit stronger. When you face him the first time, Cyrus has a Murkrow, a Golbat, and a Sneasel, 3 Pokemon that didn't do very much to stop Penguin. At this rematch, Cyrus has evolved all of his Pokemon and added a Gyarados. I don't know where he found the time to evolve 3 Pokemon, catch a Gyarados, and level it up in the hour since I last battled him, but nonetheless, his team was a lot stronger. He started with his Honchkrow, which went down with 2 Surfs. Then he sent out Gyarados. Grassknot did good damage, but I was surprised when his Gyarados knew Earthquake. I tried to pivot into a double team strategy, but it was too late. He was able to land another Earthquake before my evasiveness was high enough to reliably cause his moves to miss. Even more than I regretted losing, I regretted forgetting to save at the top of Mount Coronet. This meant I had to run the whole way back up through the mountain. Once at the top again, I beat Mars and Jupiter and challenged Cyrus. This time I started with double teams. Now ready for a strong Earthquake, I knew I would need an extra boost of evasiveness, and this proved all I needed to defeat Cyrus and take down Team Galactic for good. His Honchkrow went down in 2 Surfs. A few Grassknots took care of the Gyarados. His Weavile was taken out by just a single Flash Cannon, and a few more Surfs took out his Crobat. Team Galactic was finished. Dialga stuck around just long enough for me to catch it in my Master Ball and release it back into the world. Be free, giant scary Master of Time Pokemon. Be free. Now enough with all that Team Galactic distraction. Penguin and I are here for one reason and one reason only, to become the champions of the Sinnoh region. That means we need one more badge, and then to make our way to the Pokemon League. Off I rushed to Sunyshore, and went through the 8th gym as fast as possible. Electric is the primary focus of this final gym, but Penguin was just too powerful. Against the gym leader Volkner, all I had to do was boost my evasiveness and use a few Surfs to get the 8th and final gym badge. All that stood in my way now was Victory Road, the Elite Four, and Cynthia. Before completing Victory Road, I spent a little time running back around the Sinnoh region to collect a few important items. One of the biggest roadblocks in a single Pokemon challenge is PP, or Power Points. This is the number of times a Pokemon can use any particular move. This is restored when you heal at a Pokemon Center, or with items called Elixirs and Ethers. I collected a few of each to use in between the Elite Four battles, knowing that the base PP of my moves would not be enough to get through all 4 Pokemon League members and Cynthia. Finally, I was ready to give the Elite Four a go, but Not Piplup wanted one last try at proving he was better than me. It did take me around 6 tries to beat him, but once I got the right luck with evasions against his Staraptor, the rest of his Pokemon were no match for Penguin. Torterra was taken down, Snorlax barely stood a chance. Floatzel only took 2 moves, Heracross was crushed by a few Surfs, and his Rapidash's health disappeared in a blink. Time for the Elite Four. One aspect of this game that was greatly improved from most previous Pokemon generations was that the trainers in the AI are a lot stronger. Most gym leaders and high-level trainers were equipped with held items, powerful movesets, and the best abilities to make it more difficult. Aaron, the first member of the Elite Four, is a Bug-type specialist, who's actually just a really easy fight. His Bugs types didn't do much damage to Empoleon, and his attacks missed most of the time after using 6 double teams to start the battle. I had taught Penguin Pluck and Earthquake before the fight. I took down most of his Pokemon with Pluck, and his Drapion with an Earthquake. Bertha was the next member of the Elite Four, and she was much more of an issue. She used Ground-type Pokemon, a big weakness for Empoleon. I replaced Pluck with Grassknot and went in. She starts with Quagsire, a slow water-ground type. My plan was to start with double teams and have Quagsire's Earthquake attempts miss while I set up. This didn't happen very reliably. Due to Penguin's ground weakness, he was only able to survive through one Earthquake before he was knocked out. This meant that at least 5 Earthquakes needed to miss. Not to mention, once I got through her Quagsire, I needed to have the rest of her attacks miss, or there was little to no hope of winning. Her next Pokemon was a Golem, with the hull item Soft Sand. Even at full health, Penguin couldn't survive even one Earthquake. And to make things even better, it had the ability Sturdy, so I couldn't take it out in one shot. Thankfully, I outsped it and usually only had to deal with one Earthquake attempt, but it was still a major threat. Her Sudowoodo was not a worry at all. Penguin outsped it, and it didn't even survive a single surf. Her fourth Pokemon was a Whiscash, another water ground type that was holding a Rindo Berry. This is a held item that will reduce the damage taken from grass type moves. The best move I had for the Whiscash was Grass Knot, and thanks to this berry, it would always live at least one. Finally, she would send out a Hippowdon, which usually didn't take more than one surf. With all that, there was a lot that needed to go right to win this battle. I needed to have 5 Earthquakes miss from Quagsire, either survive an Earthquake from the Golem or have it miss, then survive a Bulldoze from the Whiscash, or pray for it to miss. As you might imagine, this was not very common. I'm no good with math, so I'm not going to try and calculate the odds of all this happening in one battle, but I do know that I threw myself at Bertha's team for 7 hours before I gave up. I needed to level up Penguin to increase my odds of winning this fight. I had made it through to the other Elite Four members a few times, but if I wanted to defeat the Elite Four in one go, I would need to increase my stats to give myself a better chance. I went into the Grand Underground and trained against the strong wild Pokemon there until Penguin was level 70. Outside of that, I didn't need to change my strategy too much. My initial plans were good. Luck just wasn't on my side. So with Penguin now beefier than ever, I headed back to the Pokemon League to give it another shot, and this is just what I needed. Aaron was even easier now that Penguin was stronger, and I didn't need to use double teams against Bertha because I was able to live through an Earthquake from Golem and a Bulldoze from Whiscash. Flint is the third member of the Elite Four. For this fight, I replaced Grass Knot with Ice Beam and took on this Fire-type Master. Flint started with a strong Rapidash that wanted to put me to sleep with Hypnosis and then wear me down with its other attacks. My plan was to double team against the Rapidash to set me up for the rest of the fight, but my Empoleon kept being put to sleep and waking back up again, so it took quite a few turns before I was able to max out my evasiveness. Finally, the Rapidash went down with just a single surf. Flint followed with a Lopunny, which hit a high jump kick, dealing big damage to Penguin. Thankfully, on the next turn, another high jump kick missed and it went down. Steelix was next, and one surf was all I needed. His last 2 Pokemon were a Drifblim and an Infernape. The Drifblim got off one Will-O-Wisp before being knocked out by 2 Ice Beams, and Flint's Infernape was all that stood between me and the last Elite Four member. A close combat missed, and a surf would have won me the battle, but Flint had equipped his Pokemon with a Focus Sash, doing nothing but giving him time to use a full restore before one last surf erased the Infernape's health bar in a single shot. Lucian, Psychic-type extraordinaire, was the second to last trainer I would need to defeat to complete this run. Lucian started with Mr. Mime, which safely let me get off 6 double teams. Mr. Mime was there to set up a light screen and reflect, and none of its other moves did serious damage to Penguin. Second up was a Medicham, which I hit with a Surf, and then it took itself out by missing a high jump kick. Third up was Girafarig, a Pokemon that knew Thunderbolt, and it ended a few of my earlier attempts. And this particular Girafarig also just seems to hate missing. It started with a light screen in Trick Room, then hit a big Thunderbolt that paralyzed me. Under normal circumstances, being paralyzed drops your speed and puts you at a severe disadvantage, but because of Trick Room, I was able to take it out with 2 more Earthquakes. I could see the finish line. Lucian unleashed his Alakazam, but I one-shot it with a super effective Shadow Claw crit. Bronzong was last. I lived through an Earthquake, and a few last surfs were all I needed to finally be allowed to face Cynthia. Cynthia greeted me like an old friend. I had helped her out with defeating Team Galactic, had even met her grandmother, and now it was time to prove to her what I was really made of as a trainer. It only took me 3 tries. She started with a Spiritomb. The strategies I had used this whole time were what I went right back to. I set up double teams, hoping for misses, so I could maximize my chances of winning the fight. I then used Grass Knots and Earthquakes to take down the Spiritomb in a few turns. She played right into my plans. She sent out a Gastrodon, a water ground type that allowed me to regain some health I lost to the Spiritomb by utilizing the Shell Bell and a powerful Grass Knot. Next, Lucario. Maylene's Lucario had caused me problems in the third gym, and Cynthia's Lucario was the biggest threat to my chances of winning this battle. Lucario knew Aura Sphere, a very strong fighting type move that was unable to miss. This perfectly countered my double team strategy, and my only hope was that I would have enough HP to live through one. But I didn't. What I did have was something stronger. The power of friendship, once again coming back to save me. Her fourth Pokemon, a Roserade, went down in 2 Ice Beams. Second to last, a Milotic, that went down in 2 Grass Knots. Cynthia's last Pokemon, Garchomp, was released onto the battlefield and was all I needed to defeat to win this challenge. Back in Veilstone, I had bought Ice Beam for this very Pokemon. Garchomp is a Dragon Ground dual type that was 4 times weak to Ice type moves. Garchomp used Swords Dance, preparing to obliterate me with an Earthquake. Penguin launched a beam of solid ice that dealt enough damage to halve Garchomp's HP bar, weakened though by a Yache Berry that lowers the damage taken from Ice type moves. Not only did it hit hard, Ice Beam froze the Garchomp, and Cynthia could only watch as Penguin unleashed one last Ice Beam, ending the battle and crowning us the champion. In 24 hours of playtime, Penguin and I had gone from inexperienced to the champions of the Sinnoh region, all thanks to the power of friendship and penguins. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed or liked this video. If you like content like this, I'll be doing more of it in the future, so make sure to subscribe so you can see it when it comes out. I stream this challenge live on Twitch, so if you want to watch me grind through all the hours you didn't see here, make sure to follow me there as well. I hope you had fun, learned a valuable lesson about the strength of penguins, and I hope to see you in the next video.